You are now entering the Grow Moringa Collective, an eco-friendly community centered around a common interest, growing moringa. Connect with other like-minded individuals in person and online as a member of the Grow Moringa Collective. Download the Members app to your phone for instant access. I now present to you a lesson from the exclusive 3-day conference event known as MoringaCon. Team up with us and get the help you need to succeed. All recordings are included with membership. Become a member to fulfill your wildest dreams of working outside in nature, planting seeds and growing trees. Turn your empty property into a thriving food forest. Get the training you need to make extra income from moringa. Learn more about growing, harvesting, drying, processing, packaging, and selling moringa trees into valuable products for extra income. Simplify your growing operation and become a profitable moringa grower. If you'd like to learn more about the moringa tree industry without beating around the bush, you're in the right place. Be sure to join us inside of the Grow Moringa Collective members area for full access to all the answers you need. Don't miss MoringaCon 25 coming up in April. Make a real impact on your health and the health of others around you. Be sure to join us inside of the Grow Moringa Collective members area for all of the moringa answers. Today, we're diving deep into the rich history of the moringa tree, commonly called the miracle tree, and you'll discover why ancient cultures revered it for its life-sustaining properties and how its benefits continue to change lives today. But here's the thing, moringa's journey doesn't stop in the past. The Grow Moringa Collective is taking moringa into the future, and you can be a part of this movement. As a collective, we're striving to become the leading suppliers of USA-grown moringa. Imagine where you are now, dreaming of being a part of something bigger. Now imagine where you could be, joining a community that supports you every step of the way. The Grow Moringa Collective isn't just about moringa, it's about empowering you. The future of moringa is happening right now, and you don't want to miss it. Join us in this exciting journey by becoming a member today. Grow moringa, and you will surely grow. This has been on my mind a little bit, and I want to make sure that this channel helps you learn more about the moringa tree. But 58% of the people who watch this channel on a regular basis are not even subscribed. Do our collective of hardworking moringa growers a huge favor before we start today's lesson. If you like the moringa tree and you'd like to support us in some way, the easiest free way you could help our mission is by hitting the subscribe button below. We're going to listen to your feedback and share more educational videos. We're going to find the answers you're craving and need to know. Thanks. So if I share screen, and we go to our book, here, and then we use that tool, Control F, for find, and we type in history. It says 7 times. History of the moringa tree. We actually just had a member sign up from Tamil Nadu in southern India. Moringa is actually from southern India, Moringa oleifera, the one that we grow, and it means twisted pod. But also we can see in the name of moringa, Moor, the word Moor, from the people, the Moors. And so Moors traveled around the world spreading agriculture and mathematics and education and plants to eat, domesticated plants around the world. And the Moors of India ended up taking Moringa oleifera and making it a domesticated tree over thousands of years. It's a hybrid. It's mixed with two different types of trees. And today is around the world, there is one variety around the world that is most prevalent and cultivated, known as Moringa oleifera. And the PKM1 variety that we grow, known as PKM1, is from a place in Tamil Nadu known as Periaculum. And today, around the world, moringa is known in the Philippines as malunggay, or in China, lamu, or in Indonesia, kelor, or in Thailand, maroon, in Cambodia, latmok, and also known as the benzo olive tree, also known as moringo, morenque, maranga, saijan in Trinidad, malonga, moloko, yabuti in other parts of Africa. Even a slang term for the never die tree is nebadai, and the nebadai tree. Also, we may know it as the miracle tree. It's in the Bible. Moses is the one that said for the people to use the moringa seeds to turn the water sweet. As we read through the chapters of the book, it really goes into in-depth about the past and the history of it, going back thousands of years, and how there's 13 varieties of moringa. The other 12 are grown in Africa. They're more wild, and they're in Africa. You might know one common one, known as the stenopetala, is very similar to the oleifera, just a little bit bigger and thicker. That's another very popular one. Today, moringa is known as a superfood. It's been cultivated now for over 4,000 or 5,000 years. It's in the Mahabharata, which is an ancient book, ancient Ayurvedic text. I go back to Dr. Sebi when Dr. Sebi was like talking about the Ayurveda, because he's an African herbalist, and so he was really into he's really into original African herbs, and would talk about moringa, even still being a hybrid, very strong. Getting back to the basis of healing and health and wellness, and eating real original foods, getting back to the original foods. It's like, how far back do we have to go? Now the foods that we're eating have been domesticated for 4,000 or 5,000 years, if not some of them more. They started off in the wild, and we've been tampering and hybridizing and naturally selecting plants to be more sweet and hardy and larger. And so even as a hybrid, it's still ranking really, really, really high among the entire plant kingdom for vitamins, minerals, especially if it's present in the soil. And this is very well researched. You can take moringa right off of in anybody's backyard, and it's going to have a nutrient profile more dense than anything in the grocery store.
Our wholesale list is now available exclusively for members. Get instant access to huge savings on premium USA Moringa products. The trees are grown organically right here in the USA. Every tree is tested for heavy metals and nutrient content, ensuring only the highest quality. Order by the case of 12 or snag a master case of 10 cases and get one free case. And guess what? You can also order with or without labels. You can now offer locally grown moringa at the farmer's market this season. You won't find high quality moringa anywhere on any shelf like this. So why wait? Sign up for membership today and get exclusive access to the wholesale list. You can make extra income from Moringa by reselling these wholesale items. Becoming more financially free starts now. Join the Grow Moringa Collective today. You could make extra income by reselling these wholesale items today. Become more financially free by joining the Grow Moringa Collective and get access to our wholesale list. I'll see you in the members area.
It's used in industry today, now, in many things like cooking, cosmetics, engines, lubrications. The roots also resemble a horseradish, and so it's known as the horseradish tree. And the wood is very soft, can be used in making paper and canvas and even cheese, believe it or not. You can grow the moringa in different ways today, in very close together, or in kind of like a living food hedge. We call that a fedge. It's not much of a windbreak, but you can use it in conjunction with other plants to help create like a line, or even a living fence, possibly too, is even really good too, to make it more of a windbreak by growing it at an angle in the ground and then crossing it with another tree at an angle in the ground and then tying them together. They'll grow into each other and it'll make like a fence and it'll be super hardy. And then growing it even like on your table as a microgreen, an intensive method outside in raised beds. The first time moringa was known to be found in the USA is in record in the 1800s in Key West, and it was being grown. They actually have an example of a leaf. They actually preserved a leaf in a book from the 1800s. You can see a moringa leaf from the book. And then in the 1970s, a nursery in Fort Myers started doing some mission work in Africa and was working closely with growers and farmers and would bring plants over and started using moringa in their educational facilities, teaching and growing it at scale, to then use as a fertilizer and also as an animal food and also as a supplement for the people of the village there at the Eco Farm and Nursery now in Fort Myers is a really great place to go visit. And so this kind of really talked a little bit about the origination of the seeds that we use today here, the PKM ones from 1989. They were the first originally brought to the US from southern India in Perioculum, from Perioculum. And that's kind of like an initial history of the moringa tree. And if you have any questions, we have about 15 minutes or so for you to get more of an idea of the history and also the future. Where do you see moringa in the future? And ask any questions if you'd like. You can keep talking about the history. Yes. Did you
I,
have something, Queen?
I do have one question
Oh, good.
about the one you named from Africa. Could you
Mhm.
name that again for me, please?
Yes, the most common other one is known as the stenopetala. Stenopetala. Stenopetala,
Okay.
depending on how you say it. So stenopetala is a larger variety, and historically moringa was mostly grown for the drumstick, right? The most valuable part of the moringa is the oil that comes from the drumstick, and that's why it's moringa oleifera. So that goes back to their original name. Ole is oil, and ifera is producing, so it's oil producing.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know that.
And the seeds are about 25% oil.
Hmm. They both produce the
Yeah,
drumsticks.
you know, The closest in relation is the Stenopetala and the oleifera. They're the closest. The others are either really small and bushy and wild, almost like a rosemary, right? Some of the moringas actually resemble like a rosemary bush, with these little pods, almost like a little bean.
Mm.
Some of them actually are really bulbous and big, like large bulbous ones. Like when you think of Africa, sometimes the trees that are out on the Serengeti, those big bulbous trees with a little bit of greens at the top. Some of those are baobab trees, but some of those are actually moringa trees.
Wow, that big, huh?
Yeah, there's a different variety of moringa that has a bulbous tuber uh, um, trunk, very similar to the baobab. You all know baobab, right? It's that big tubular bulbous one from Africa, very popular,
Mm-hmm.
very very good supplement. I think it's like the baobab. I think it's like a powder or like an oil. Is
Mm-hmm.
it similar to like chocolate baobab? Yeah, I used to have it quite a bit a few years ago. I haven't had it recently, but
Is it sweet?
or is it like shea? It's not like
Is it?
shea, is it baobab?
I think it's might be. Hmm. I'm not. I better
Because
look
the
that one
shea
up.
tree is also very, very much um, relegated to a particular part in Africa, just like the Melaleuca tree, or there's another tree here in Florida that's only in Florida for the honey, Melaleuca honey. I think there's a very
Mm.
small area where this one tree grows. And so today, moringas around the whole world. The Moors took moringa around the world. Actually, the original story of Popeye the Sailor Man, spinach didn't even exist. They made that story up. The
Wow.
Moors, the Moors would carry moringa seeds and moringa leaves, dried leaves, on their ships.
Now, where were the Moors from
The Moors,
originally?
well, there's Moors from all over the world. When we say Moors, it's kind of like taking it way, way back to the population of people, say before civilization and bloodline was all kind of say maybe coming out of the ice age. Maybe there was a time where population really like uh blossomed after the weather changed, about 12,000 years ago. So the Moors kind of came from that time period, and say they had knowledge from a previous time, and plants and agriculture and building, monuments and large buildings. And so the Moors, there's Arabian Moors, there's African Moors, there's European Moors, like even the original Moors in Germany and Spain. There's different types of Moors, not just one type. There's Asian Moors, from Russia and even Asia. Some people say that that's like Tartaria, and those people are also the people that that created Moringa, and they were
Mm.
sailors. And the story of Popeye was actually from the story of sailors taking Moringa and using it because it's a protein source and it helps them to make them strong. So it's an ancient fairy tale or an ancient story that was turned into like this modern story cartoon character. It was personified into this European, looking sailor, right? But it was
That is
originally from a
amazing.
Moor. Yeah, it's an
Amazing.
old story that was essentially hijacked.
Thank you for sharing that. One
Um,
other question I had was
yes.
about the miniature trees. I have an interest for those little cuties,
Which one?
the little miniatures that you say
The
could,
little one? Okay, if you
use
look, I
table.
do here, let me put in here, let me put in here, uh, family tree. I think I have it in the back of the book. What is it? Genealogy? What would we call that? Genealogy. What would we call that? What would we call that? I think I put it in the back of the book. Either that or I put it like right in the front. I do remember putting the tree, the family tree, so that way you can see the different names. Hold on. Thought for sure that I put it. What would that chart be? That would be
Is
that
that the
chart.
same thing as like the bone? Is the bonsai or?
Family. Let me see. One of one. Friends and family. That's it. Oh, one of eight. Here we go. Oh, here we go. I got it. Chapter 3. Chapter 3, 1. Okay, here we go. If you go to chapter
Yeah,
3,
I have an
1.
interest for those. I have an interest for those. The little babies. Well, well, they don't stay babies, but
Right.
the
Okay,
miniature
so
trees.
if you go back to the plant family, it's in the kingdom of the plant family. Then the subkingdom is the Tracheobionta, and then the superdivision is the Spermatophyta. Then the division is the Mangoliophyta. So it's actually closely to a Magnolia tree. You know Magnolias
Mm-hmm.
with the white flowers, with the big white
Yes.
flowers.
Right. Uh-huh.
Those beautiful Magnolia trees that we have here.
Okay.
It's
Right.
kind of like those are ancient trees. Those Magnolia trees, those are some of the oldest trees alive. Like they're in the same form as they've been for millions and millions of years. So Magnolia, and then it split off from there, a bunch of other softwoods. So that's where it kind of gets its, softwood from that. And then it went into the Dillenidae family, the Caporales order. And then from that is in the Moringaceae family. And then you have Moringa, Oleifera, PKM1. And then I'm going to see if I can find. I should have put the Stenopetala and all the names close by. I should have put all the names close by. Let me type in here. Stenopetala. Stenopetala.
So, do you get the little miniature trees by just clipping them? Keep clipping them?
You want small trees?
You mentioned something about miniature. Um,
Well, of the 13, there is a miniature, like a small little bushy type of tree.
oh, I see. The tree is
Yeah.
smaller.
The actual tree there's 13 types. The
I
one that
see.
the one that we grow is Oleifera, and then within Oleifera, we grow PKM1.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
There's 13 altogether. We grow one of those. Within that, there's different regions. We grow the one from southern India, from Tamil Nadu, which was developed in 1989 at a university, to be a short, bushy, and a high productive drumstick tree. So this is a perfect way to close it out with the history of the tree, as the purpose of this tree and the PKM1, particularly, and the reason why we grow the PKM1, because of its research and its genealogy, the strength of where it comes from. And also they put the PKM1 together for a general grower who's interested in fast, short, bushy growth, and also then to develop that same tree into a drumstick tree. Right? So this is what we do, is when someone says, can I grow moringa for drumstick? Yes, but if you are just thinking drumstick from day one, you're going to miss out on thousands of dollars of greens throughout that first 2 years. The reason why we grow PKM1 is because it's short, it's bushy, it's greens, and then it goes into a lot of heavy set drumsticks. There's other trees within oleifera, like the mole, M-O-L-E with the dash at the top, mole. That's gonna just be for greens, short bushy greens. It's never really gonna get big. It doesn't really produce drumsticks. It's gonna be made just for greens. But then if you go to Moringa oleifera Momax, Momax is just a tree that gets big, sturdy, fast. Doesn't really need to be cut back much, but you just let it go and do its thing. And it produces drumsticks, lots and lots of drumsticks. And when it does hit drumsticks, it produces thousands. It just drips in drumsticks. It's called a Momax. And it just drips in drumsticks, and there's no leaves. It's literally just straight drumsticks. And so
Wow.
that's where the history has kind of taken it to where the industry saw where in the 80s it was starting to get cultivated. You know, it had already been taken over. India had already taken over India, because the Indian Moors, they went ahead and took Moringa oleifera, and then over thousands and thousands of years essentially got to the PKM1, which is like ideal, everything. And then from there they started doing the smalls with the leaves, and then from there they started doing the bigs with the drumsticks, and now there's a lot of in-betweens and far rights and far lefts of drumsticks versus greens, and short and bushy versus big and hardy. So the PKM1 is right there in the middle, which is why I love it.
Thank you. That was great.
You're welcome. Yeah, we tied it all together for our very first gathering for MoringaCon 24. We'll be back in about 30 minutes for our next showcase, which will be about buying and leasing land. We're going to talk about the organization of having land and how someone can develop their land like we are, with a farm and products and a store, to be able to make a living, and then also to be able to lease out your land to growers, very similar to an RV park, which is exciting to talk about. All right, so we'll do that next. And thanks for coming in, everybody. We'll see you in about 30 minutes at 2 p.m.
You are now entering the Grow Moringa Collective, an eco-friendly community centered around a common interest: growing moringa. Connect with other like-minded individuals in person and online as a member of the Grow Moringa Collective. Download the members app to your phone for instant access. I now present to you a lesson from the exclusive 3-day conference event known as MoringaCon. Team up with us and get the help you need to succeed. All recordings are included with membership. Become a member to fulfill your wildest dreams of working outside in nature, planting seeds and growing trees. Turn your empty property into a thriving food forest. Get the training you need to make extra income from moringa. Learn more about growing, harvesting, drying, processing, packaging, and selling moringa trees into valuable products for extra income. Simplify your growing operation and become a profitable moringa grower. If you'd like to learn more about the moringa tree industry without beating around the bush, you're in the right place. Be sure to join us inside of the Grow Moringa Collective members area for full access to all the answers you need. Don't miss MoringaCon 25 coming up in April. Make a real impact on your health and the health of others around you. Be sure to join us inside of the Grow Moringa Collective members area for all of the Moringa answers.